First story, The Silent Echoes by Emily Reynolds. It was a crisp autumn evening in the small town of Oak Ridge, nestled in the heart of Pennsylvania. The leaves painted the streets with hues of red and gold as I, Emily Reynolds, trudged my way home from a late-night study session at the high school. The clock had struck midnight, and the quiet neighborhood seemed to amplify the eerie rustle of leaves in the chilling breeze. I pulled my jacket tighter around me, the echoes of my footsteps bouncing off the silent houses. As I turned the corner onto Elm Street, a peculiar sensation crept over me. A distant murmur, barely audible, fluttered in the air. It was as if the night itself whispered secrets that I wasn't meant to hear. I quickened my pace, glancing around nervously. Shadows danced in the corners of my vision, playing tricks on my imagination. Passing by the old playground, I noticed a lone figure standing beneath the flickering streetlight. A chill ran down my spine as I recognized him, the town's infamous recluse, Mr. Blackwell. Mr. Blackwell was known for his unsettling presence, always seen lingering in the shadows, his eyes never meeting those of anyone who crossed his path. As I approached, his head turned ever so slightly, his gaze fixed on me. The hairs on the back of my neck stood on end, and a lump formed in my throat. I quickened my pace, desperate to escape the gaze that seemed to follow my every move. The night, once serene, now felt like a stage for some ominous performance. A guttural growl reverberated through the air, sending shivers down my spine. I dared not look back, fearing what grotesque tableau might await me. Turning onto Maple Avenue, the streetlights flickered in a bizarre rhythm. The echo of my footsteps now felt like an ominous drumbeat, resonating with the sinister melody of the night. My imagination ran wild, conjuring images of lurking shadows and unseen horrors. Was Mr. Blackwell still there, his presence a silent specter haunting my every step? As I neared my home, the oppressive silence gave way to a disconcerting symphony of creaks and sighs. My own front door seemed to groan as I pushed it open, welcoming me into the supposed safety of my abode. I locked the door behind me, the reassuring click doing little to ease the tension that gripped me. Sleep that night was elusive, as the echoes of that eerie night lingered in my mind. The town of Oak Ridge, once familiar and comforting, now harbored secrets that whispered in the darkness. The silent echoes of that night would forever haunt my dreams, a chilling reminder that the line between the ordinary and the extraordinary was thinner than we dared to believe. Second story, Shadows in the Lamplight by Daniel Matthews. The narrow streets of London's East End held a charm of their own during the daylight hours, but as night fell, an unsettling transformation occurred. I, Daniel Matthews, found myself reluctantly immersed in this nocturnal world as I navigated the labyrinthine alleys on my way home from an evening class at the university. The amber glow of gas lamps cast long, distorted shadows, creating an atmosphere that was equal parts enchanting and ominous. My brisk pace mirrored the increasing unease that settled in the pit of my stomach. The rhythmic tap of my shoes on cobblestone was the only audible companion in this desolate urban landscape. As I turned the corner onto Brick Lane, the dimly lit storefronts revealed a group of teenagers huddled together. Their faces obscured by hooded jackets, they whispered conspiratorially, casting furtive glances in my direction. Ignoring the knot forming in my stomach, I quickened my pace, the lamplight flickering with an eerie irregularity. The whispers escalated into hushed laughter as I passed, their eyes following my every move. The air became charged with an unspoken tension, and I couldn't shake the feeling of being an unwilling participant in some mysterious game. A shiver ran down my spine, and I pressed on, the shadows conspiring to envelop me in their inky embrace. As I reached the entrance to the underground station, a sudden gust of wind extinguished the nearby lamp, plunging the surroundings into near-complete darkness. Panic seized me, and I fumbled for my phone to illuminate the path ahead. The feeble glow revealed the disconcerting sight: the hooded figures, now mere silhouettes, advancing slowly towards me. A primal instinct took over, and I broke into a run, the echoes of my footsteps drowned out by the pounding of my heart. The teenagers' laughter reverberated through the tunnel, echoing off the cold, damp walls. I dared not look back, the fear of what I might see propelling me forward, my breaths labored and desperate. Emerging from the underground into the frigid night air, I dared to steal a glance over my shoulder. The hooded figures had vanished, leaving behind an empty street bathed in the ethereal glow of the rekindled lamplight. The cityscape seemed to exhale a collective sigh of relief, but the shadows lingered, their secrets buried in the dimly lit recesses of the East End. Third story, The Forgotten Playground by Alexei Ivanov. In the outskirts of Moscow, where the urban sprawl gives way to abandoned industrial relics, I, Alexei Ivanov, found myself entangled in a chilling tale that unfolded on a crisp winter night. As a student at the Moscow State University, my evenings were often spent studying late at the imposing campus. One fateful night, curiosity led me to explore the desolate surroundings beyond the university walls. The city lights dimmed, and the skeletal frames of forgotten factories loomed like specters against the night sky. My path led me to an abandoned playground, frozen in time, its swings swaying with an unsettling creak in the frigid wind. A distant hum echoed through the air, reverberating from the skeletal structures that once echoed with the laughter of children. My footsteps crunched on the frozen ground as I cautiously approached the forsaken play area. The eerie glow of a distant street lamp cast long shadows that danced across the snow-covered landscape. As I ventured deeper, a sense of foreboding settled in my chest. The wind carried whispers, snippets of forgotten tales that seemed to linger in the air. The playground, though abandoned, felt alive with the memories of a bygone era. The crunch of snow beneath my boots seemed to amplify in the stillness, a stark contrast to the distant urban symphony. I hesitated at the dilapidated carousel, its rusted horses frozen in a perpetual state of gallop. The wind intensified, carrying with it the haunting melody of a music box, a sound that should have been impossible in this desolate place. My gaze darted around, searching for the source of this ghostly serenade. A silhouette emerged from the darkness, an elderly man, his tattered coat billowing in the wind. His eyes, sunken and hollow, met mine with a gaze that seemed to pierce through the layers of time. He spoke in a voice that crackled like the pages of an ancient tome, recounting tales of joy and sorrow that resonated with the very essence of the abandoned playground. As the old man's stories unfolded, the temperature plummeted, and frost painted intricate patterns on the forgotten structures. I listened in rapt attention, unaware of the passage of time. The wind carried the echoes of laughter, and the carousel creaked to life, its frozen horses now caught in a spectral dance. Abruptly, the old man fell silent, his gaze fixed on the distant horizon. The wind howled through the skeletal remains, and the playground seemed to exhale a mournful sigh. The elderly storyteller faded into the shadows, leaving me alone in the frozen embrace of the forgotten playground. I stumbled back through the snow-covered landscape, the echoes of the spectral tales still lingering in my ears. The night air felt colder, and the distant lights of Moscow flickered in the distance. The forgotten playground, with its frozen memories and haunting melodies, remained etched in my mind, a chilling reminder that even the echoes of the past could come to life in the silence of the night. Fourth story, The Midnight Choir by Isabella Anders. As a student at the University of Sydney, I, Isabella Anders, often found myself wrapped in the vibrant tapestry of the city's nocturnal energy. It was a sultry summer night when an unexpected encounter unfolded, weaving a tale that blurred the lines between reality and the ethereal. My evening class had stretched into the wee hours, and the deserted campus seemed to exhale a sigh of relief as the last echoes of my classmates' footsteps faded into the distance. With my backpack slung over one shoulder, I embarked on the familiar journey through the dimly lit streets of Chippendale. The air hung heavy with the scent of eucalyptus, and the distant hum of the city served as the backdrop to my solitary walk. As I approached Victoria Park, a subtle shift in the atmosphere caught my attention. The rhythmic sound of chanting wafted through the warm night air, drawing me toward the park's shadowy embrace. Under the canopy of ancient trees, a group of teenagers sat in a circle, their faces illuminated by the soft glow of flickering candles. Clad in flowing garments, they chanted in a language unknown to me, their voices harmonizing with an otherworldly precision. My steps faltered as I became an unwitting spectator to this clandestine midnight choir. In the center of the circle, a figure in a hooded robe presided over the ritual, their face obscured by shadows. The air pulsed with an energy that transcended the ordinary, and I felt an inexplicable connection to the ritual unfolding before me. As if drawn by an unseen force, I edged closer, careful not to disturb the sacred dance of shadows and whispers. The chants reached a crescendo, their cadence resonating with an ancient power that transcended the boundaries of the tangible world. The wind whispered secrets, and the leaves rustled in response, as if nature itself had become a willing participant in this mystical communion. The boundaries between reality and illusion blurred, leaving me suspended in a surreal dreamscape. As the ritual climaxed, the hooded figure raised their arms to the heavens, and a celestial light enveloped the park. The air crackled with energy, and for a fleeting moment, I glimpsed the outlines of ephemeral beings dancing in the periphery of my vision. A chorus of ethereal voices joined the midnight choir, resonating with a cosmic harmony that defied explanation. The hooded figure turned toward me, their eyes meeting mine in a gaze that transcended time and space. With a subtle nod, they acknowledged my presence, and the celestial light receded, leaving the park shrouded in darkness once more. The teenagers dispersed into the night, their mystical communion complete. I stood there, rooted in awe and disbelief, as the echoes of the midnight choir lingered in the warm summer air. The streets of Chippendale resumed their usual rhythm, oblivious to the otherworldly spectacle that had unfolded in the heart of the city. The mystical encounter became a hidden chapter in the book of my memories, a tale that defied rationality and left me forever changed by the enigmatic magic of that summer night. Fifth story, The Deserted Asylum by Samuel Richardson. In the outskirts of New Orleans, where the bayou's mystique collides with the whispers of a haunted past, I, Samuel Richardson, stumbled upon a chilling tale that unfolded on a moonlit night. As a student at Tulane University, my academic pursuits often led me down unconventional paths, but nothing could have prepared me for the eerie secrets that lay hidden in the abandoned asylum on the outskirts of town. A series of late-night study sessions had left me craving a change of scenery, and a fellow student mentioned an old asylum that lay forgotten amid the swamplands. Intrigued by the prospect of exploring the unknown, I found myself venturing into the humid night, the air thick with the scent of decaying vegetation. The crumbling facade of the asylum rose like a specter from the darkness, its windows shattered and its walls cloaked in the shadows of twisted vines. A chorus of insects provided an eerie soundtrack as I cautiously stepped through the broken entrance, my flashlight cutting through the oppressive darkness. The interior of the asylum echoed with the ghosts of its former inhabitants. The creaking floorboards whispered tales of anguish and despair. As I delved deeper into the labyrinthine corridors, a distant murmur reached my ears, like the faint echoes of conversations long extinguished by time. The hairs on the back of my neck stood on end as the asylum seemed to come alive with spectral murmurs. A flickering light drew me toward a room at the end of a long hallway. The air became charged with an unseen energy as I entered, the feeble glow revealing a group of teenagers huddled around a makeshift table covered in tattered playing cards. Their faces bore the pallor of the deceased, and their eyes, vacant yet watchful, turned toward me. The leader of the group, a young woman with raven black hair, beckoned me to join their spectral gathering. The air thickened with an oppressive weight as I hesitated, caught between the allure of the unknown and the instinctual fear that gripped my senses. The teenagers continued their game, their movements deliberate and detached. The room seemed to warp in dimensions, the boundaries between reality and the supernatural dissolving before my eyes. A distorted laughter echoed through the asylum, resonating with a disconcerting familiarity that sent shivers down my spine. I recognized the laughter, the collective echoes of the asylum's tormented past. As the card game unfolded, the teenagers' expressions shifted from detached to animated, their spectral forms mirroring the human emotions they had long left behind. The asylum, once a vessel of suffering, now became a stage for the ghosts of its former residents to relive fragments of their forgotten lives. A sudden gust of wind extinguished the feeble light, plunging the room into near-complete darkness. The asylum seemed to groan in protest as the teenagers faded into the shadows, leaving me alone in the haunted silence. My heart pounded in my chest as I navigated the labyrinth of corridors, the echoes of spectral laughter and murmurs fading into the oppressive stillness of the night. I emerged from the asylum, the moonlight casting a surreal glow on the decaying facade. The bayou's chorus of insects resumed their nocturnal symphony, and the haunted asylum retreated into the shadows, its secrets concealed once more. The encounter lingered in my consciousness, a chilling reminder that some stories, once forgotten, yearned to be rediscovered in the hallowed halls of the abandoned and the eerie echoes of the night. Sixth story, The Haunting Symphony by Sofia Martinez. In the heart of Barcelona, where the vibrant streets come alive with the spirit of Catalonia, I, Sofia Martinez, became entangled in a tale that unfolded on a sultry summer night. As a student at the University of Barcelona, my insatiable curiosity often led me to explore the city's hidden corners. Little did I know that one such exploration would plunge me into a world where reality intertwined with the haunting strains of an otherworldly symphony. My classes had ended late, and the intoxicating allure of Barcelona's nightlife beckoned me. The narrow alleys of the Gothic Quarter, adorned with centuries-old architecture, became my nocturnal playground. Underneath the flickering glow of antique street lamps, I navigated the labyrinthine passages, the air thick with the scent of blooming bougainvillea. As the clock struck midnight, I found myself in the shadow of the Basilica de Santa Maria del March. The centuries-old cathedral stood silent, its grandeur illuminated by the moon's soft glow. A subtle melody, like the ghostly whisper of a forgotten serenade, wafted through the night air, drawing me towards the imposing structure. In the dimly lit square, a group of teenagers gathered, their faces obscured by the shifting shadows. Clad in attire reminiscent of a bygone era, they swayed to the haunting strains of a violin played by a figure in the center. The music, both melancholic and enchanting, hung in the air like a delicate thread connecting the earthly realm to the ethereal. I stood on the periphery, captivated by the spectral performance unfolding before me. The teenagers moved in a synchronized dance, their movements guided by an unseen force. The violinist's bow glided across the strings, conjuring a melody that transcended the boundaries of time and space. The cobblestones beneath my feet seemed to vibrate in response to the haunting symphony. As the performance reached its zenith, a portal seemed to open in the fabric of reality. A surreal amalgamation of historical figures, long-departed souls, and spectral dancers materialized in the square. The air became charged with an energy that resonated with the heartbeat of centuries past. I found myself ensnared in a dance that defied the constraints of mortal existence. The ethereal dancers twirled and whirled, their ghostly forms casting shadows that danced upon the cathedral walls. The haunting symphony intensified, and the boundaries between the corporeal and the spectral blurred into an indistinguishable haze. It was a surreal communion with the echoes of history, a dance with the ghosts of Barcelona's storied past. Abruptly, the music ceased, and the spectral dancers dissolved into the night, leaving me standing in the empty square. The Basilica de Santa Maria del Mar loomed overhead, its ancient stones bearing witness to the transient convergence of worlds. The teenagers, now mere shadows in the moonlight, dispersed into the labyrinthine alleys. I retraced my steps through the Gothic quarter, the echoes of the haunting symphony reverberating in my mind. Barcelona, a city steeped in history and mystery, had revealed a secret dance that transcended the boundaries of the known and the supernatural. The city's alleys, once familiar, now held the lingering echoes of an otherworldly serenade, a reminder that beneath the surface of the mundane, an enchanting symphony of the unseen played on. 7th Story: The Enigmatic Soiree by Lars Christensen. Copenhagen, with its blend of modernity and old-world charm, was the backdrop for a mysterious tale that unfolded on a crisp autumn night. I, Lars Christensen, a student at the University of Copenhagen, often found solace in the city's quaint streets and hidden gems. Little did I know that one such escapade would lead me to an enigmatic soiree, blurring the line between reality and an elusive world that thrived in the shadows. My studies had kept me occupied well into the evening, and as the city plunged into the velvety darkness, I decided to take a detour through the historic district of Nyhavn. The canal's waters reflected the soft glow of streetlights, casting an enchanting ambience over the cobblestone streets. An unspoken invitation beckoned me towards a narrow alley, a path I had never explored before. As I ventured deeper into the labyrinth of alleys, a gentle melody, reminiscent of a melancholic waltz, reached my ears. The notes hung in the air, guiding me toward an unassuming door adorned with an antique knocker. The sound of muffled laughter and the clinking of glasses seeped through the cracks, drawing me into the clandestine world that lay beyond. With trepidation, I knocked on the door, the echoes reverberating through the narrow passage. The door swung open, revealing a dimly lit corridor that led to an opulent ballroom bathed in a soft, golden glow. The room was filled with a gathering of elegantly dressed teenagers, their attire harkening back to a bygone era. The orchestral strains of a live band filled the air, and the dancers moved with a grace that transcended the limits of mortal existence. The atmosphere, both intoxicating and surreal, hinted at an otherworldly elegance that defied the conventions of time. I, an unwitting guest, became a spectator to a soiree that existed on the fringe of reality. As I navigated the sea of swirling dancers, I noticed a masked figure standing at the grand piano. Their mask, adorned with intricate filigree, concealed their identity, lending an air of mystery to their presence. The pianist's fingers glided over the keys, conjuring a melody that seemed to beckon the very essence of enchantment. In the midst of the dance, the masked figure extended a gloved hand towards me, an unspoken invitation to join the spectral waltz. The room's occupants, their faces veiled by masks of elegance and intrigue, turned their attention towards the newcomer. The decision weighed heavily on my shoulders, torn between the allure of the enigmatic soiree and the instinctual fear that gripped me. With a hesitant nod, I accepted the masked figure's invitation, and the dance began. The ballroom spun in a kaleidoscope of colors, and the music enveloped us in a timeless embrace. The dancers moved in unison, their ethereal forms twirling and weaving through the gilded expanse. It was a dance that defied the limitations of the mortal realm, a communion with a realm that existed on the fringes of perception. As the music reached its climax, the ballroom seemed to dissolve into a dreamscape. The masked figures faded into the shadows, leaving me standing alone in the dimly lit corridor. The door swung shut behind me, concealing the enigmatic soiree from the prying eyes of the world. The historic district of Niham resumed its quietude, and the echoes of the spectral waltz lingered in the crisp night air. I retraced my steps through the cobblestone streets, the sense of bewilderment and wonder intertwining in my mind. Copenhagen, a city of undeniable charm, had revealed a secret realm that flourished in the hidden corners of its history-laden alleys. The enigmatic soiree became a surreal chapter in the book of my experiences, a tale that whispered of a world that existed just beyond the veil of the known. 8th story, The Labyrinthine Whispers by Ananya Sharma. In the heart of Mumbai, where the vibrant chaos of the city collides with the echoes of colonial history, I, Ananya Sharma, found myself immersed in a tale that unfolded on a sweltering summer night. As a student at St. Xavier's College, my evenings often veered towards the exploratory, but nothing could have prepared me for the labyrinthine whispers that would lead me into the enigmatic depths of the city's past. The humidity hung thick in the air as I left the college premises after an impromptu debate session that had extended into the late hours. Seeking respite from the oppressive heat, I wandered into the maze-like lanes of Kalagoda, where the remnants of colonial architecture whispered tales of a bygone era. The moon, obscured by monsoon clouds, cast sporadic shadows upon the cobblestone streets. As I strolled through the labyrinthine alleys, a subtle murmur reached my ears, like the distant echoes of a clandestine conversation. The whispers seemed to emanate from a narrow passage tucked away between two weathered buildings. Intrigued, I followed the haunting cadence, my senses attuned to the enigmatic symphony that unfolded in the shadows. The passage led me to an ancient courtyard, hidden from the prying eyes of the bustling city. In the center stood a group of teenagers, their faces adorned with expressions that hovered between trepidation and excitement. They huddled around a worn-out table, their fingers gliding over a centuries-old Ouija board, a relic of spiritual exploration. The air crackled with an unseen energy as the planchette moved with an eerie deliberation, spelling out messages that transcended the temporal boundaries. The whispers intensified, weaving tales of the colonial ghosts that lingered in the hidden corners of Kalagoda. It was as if the very stones beneath our feet bore witness to the secrets that time had forgotten. As the seance unfolded, the courtyard seemed to pulse with an ethereal energy. Shadows danced upon the ancient walls, and the flickering lamplights cast an otherworldly glow upon the gathering. The teenagers, unwitting conduits of the supernatural, conversed with entities from a distant past, their voices echoing the enigmatic conversations that had transpired within these walls. Suddenly, the atmosphere shifted. A gust of wind extinguished the flickering lamplights, plunging the courtyard into darkness. The whispers became urgent, almost desperate, as if the spirits sought to convey a message before the veil between worlds closed once more. I felt an otherworldly presence, a weight in the air that sent shivers down my spine. As the lamplights flickered back to life, the courtyard lay empty, the Ouija board now a relic of a transient communion. The whispers retreated into the labyrinthine alleys, leaving me standing alone in the heart of Kalagoda. The monsoon rains began to fall, washing away the traces of the supernatural encounter. I retraced my steps through the maze-like lanes, the echoes of the labyrinthine whispers lingering in the humid air. Mumbai, a city teeming with life and history, had revealed a secret enclave where the spirits of the past found a voice in the whispers that resonated through time. The enigmatic encounter became a chapter in the ongoing saga of the city, a tale that whispered of the unseen threads that bound the present to the mysteries of antiquity. Ninth story, The Forgotten Carnival by Maxime Dubois. In the quaint town of Strasbourg, where the Rhine River weaves tales of folklore and centuries-old traditions, I, Maxime Dubois, found myself entangled in a chilling tale that unfolded on a mist-laden autumn night. As a student at the University of Strasbourg, my nocturnal wanderings often led me into the embrace of the town's hidden enigmas. Little did I know that one such journey would unravel the forgotten echoes of a long-lost carnival, casting an eerie pallor over the cobbled streets. Having lost track of time in the depths of the university's ancient library, I emerged into the quiet night, the gas lamps casting feeble halos in the dense fog. The town, with its half-timbered houses and medieval charm, bore witness to the shadows of a bygone era. My steps led me towards the outskirts, where the whispers of forgotten legends seemed to beckon from the darkness. As I approached the edge of town, the fog thickened, creating an otherworldly ambience. A soft melody, reminiscent of a haunting carousel tune, wafted through the air, the echoes tugging at the strings of nostalgia. Intrigued, I followed the ethereal strains to the remnants of an old fairground, hidden in the folds of the mist. The desolate carnival grounds, adorned with rusting rides and faded banners, came alive with spectral lights that flickered and danced in the fog. A group of teenagers, their faces painted with the vestiges of clown makeup, congregated around a long-forgotten carousel. The wooden horses, frozen in mid-gallop, bore witness to the passage of time. As I ventured closer, the teenagers acknowledged my presence with silent nods, their eyes reflecting the melancholy of a carnival trapped in the echoes of yesteryears. The leader of the group, a young woman with a faded top hat perched atop her head, gestured for me to join their eerie assembly. Reluctantly, I stepped onto the creaking wooden platform, the carnival's history unfolding beneath my feet. The carousel stirred to life, its ancient machinery groaning as the spectral lights painted the mist with hues of crimson and gold. The teenagers, caught in a time warp, began to sway to the eerie melody that resonated from the carousel's antique music box. The air became charged with an energy that transcended the ordinary, as if the carnival had become a gateway to a realm where past and present intertwined. As the carousel spun, a ghostly procession emerged from the mist, the apparitions of carnival-goers from a forgotten era. Their laughter echoed through the fog, the joyous sound tinged with an unsettling nostalgia. I watched in awe as the spectral riders joined the dance, their ethereal forms casting shadows on the desolate fairground. Abruptly, the carousel screeched to a halt, and the ghostly reverie ceased. The teenagers, now clad in tattered carnival attire, turned towards me with hollow gazes. The fog thickened, obscuring the apparitions from view, and the carnival grounds fell silent once more. Alone in the mist-laden stillness, I retraced my steps through the cobbled streets of Strasbourg. The echoes of the forgotten carnival lingered in the air, a testament to the ephemeral nature of joy and the spectral dance that unfolded when the mists of time were stirred. The town, with its centuries-old secrets, resumed its slumber, leaving me with the haunting melodies of a long-lost carnival etched in my memory. 10th story, The Subterranean Enigma by Natalia Petrov. Beneath the bustling streets of Rome, where the ancient catacombs cradled the bones of the departed, I, Natalia Petrov, stumbled upon a tale that unfolded on a moonlit night. As a student at La Sapienza University, my academic pursuits often led me to the hidden depths of the city's history. Little did I know that one such exploration would unravel the enigmatic secrets that lay buried beneath the surface. An archaeological lecture had kept me on campus until the late hours, and as I emerged into the cool Roman night, a sense of restlessness seized me. The city, with its layers of history, seemed to beckon me towards the subterranean mysteries that lurked beneath the cobblestone streets. Guided by an impulse I couldn't resist, I found myself at the entrance of the Catacombe di San Callisto. The moon cast an ethereal glow upon the ancient tombstones that marked the entrance to the catacombs. A distant sound, like the echoes of a solemn hymn, resonated from the depths below. Intrigued, I descended into the cool darkness, the narrow passageways winding through a labyrinth of ossuaries and hidden chambers. As I ventured deeper into the catacombs, the echoes of the hymn intensified. The air, thick with the scent of earth and ancient stone, pulsed with an otherworldly energy. The walls, adorned with faded frescoes depicting scenes from Christian lore, seemed to come alive in the flickering light of my lantern. A soft glow led me to a chamber where a group of teenagers, their faces obscured by the play of shadows, gathered around a makeshift altar. Candles flickered, casting dancing shadows upon the stone walls. In the center stood a cloaked figure, their voice resonating with an ancient solemnity as they recited verses from a forgotten scripture. The teenagers, their demeanor a curious blend of reverence and trepidation, chanted in unison, their voices merging with the ethereal hum that permeated the catacombs. The ancient tombs seemed to resonate with the spectral hymn, their silent occupants witnessing a communion that transcended the boundaries of the mortal realm. As the ceremony reached its zenith, the subterranean chamber quivered with an unseen force. The cloaked figure, now bathed in an otherworldly light, turned towards me, their eyes gleaming with an enigmatic wisdom. Without a word, they extended a hand, inviting me to join the ritual. Compelled by an indescribable force, I stepped forward, the echoes of the hymn enveloping me like a spectral shroud. The catacombs pulsed with an energy that transcended time, and the boundaries between the living and the departed blurred in the moonlit subterranean enclave. Abruptly, the hymn ceased, and the chamber fell silent. The teenagers, their faces now visible in the dim light, regarded me with solemn gazes. The cloaked figure nodded in acknowledgement, and the glow that bathed the chamber dissipated. The catacombs, once alive with spectral energy, returned to their silent repose. I ascended from the depths, the moonlight guiding my way through the labyrinthine tunnels Rome, with its layers of history and mystery, cradled the secrets of the subterranean enigma that had unfolded beneath the city's surface. The catacombs, silent guardians of the departed, whispered tales of an ancient communion that defied the constraints of the known and beckoned to those who dared to delve into the shadows of the past. Thank you for sticking with us through the whole video. Also, I recommend you this video you see on screen, one of the scariest on my channel. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe and like this video. This helps me bring you more thrilling content every day. If this video sent shivers down your spine, let me know in the comments.